It's one of the most notorious unsolved cases in Michigan. From February 1976 to March 1977, 4 kids were kidnapped and murdered in Oakland County along the Woodward Corridor.
Hello, my viewers. Welcome back to another episode of Into the Unknown. Today we dive into the story of the Oakland County murders, a case that never was solved. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Without further ado, let's step into the unknown.
Friends used to talk about the things we used to do, but until you return, I will be faithful to you. I will be faithful.
Oakland County, Michigan is about 30 miles outside of Detroit. But over 2 winters in 1976 and 1977, it was a neighborhood gripped by fear after 4 children turned up murdered. Each child that was murdered was all from the county, and the suspect who kept the children anywhere from 3 days to nearly 3 weeks, bathing them and feeding them and washing their clothes before either smothering them, strangling them, or in the case of one, shooting them in the face, investigators reported. And in each of the final measures of what the suspect did to them, he left the bodies in public view within feet of nearby homes in a ditch on the side of the road. Being that it was in the winter, the bodies were placed in snowbanks. The victims were Mark Douglas Stebbins, 12 years old, Jill Robinson, 12 years old, Christine Marie Milhelich, 10 years old, and Timothy John King, 11 years old. Autopsy reports revealed that most of the children had been fed and groomed prior to their deaths. 3 by strangulations, 1 by gunshot, and some had been sexually abused by the killer.
This was the sketch of the individual. They never discovered who the person was. You know, they had this sketch right here. They had different suspects. They never found out who the guy was, so it's left to be unknown. But let's dive back into the story and go ahead and conclude to see where we are today with the story.
Mark's mother, Ruth, said that after her son didn't come home following a pool tournament, she called the police. She said, "I kept hearing noises and thinking it was Mark." She recalled, "And the next few days I sat 3 places at the table in the hope that he'd come home." On the 4th day, police found Mark's body in a parking lot 2.5 miles away from his home. Later at that same spot, they found a stamp card that had been given to visitors at the funeral home. She said, "I didn't recognize everyone who have came to the funeral. I might even shaken hands with my son's killer." Carol, the mother of Jill Robinson, said that the grief was overwhelming and consuming. It's the small things that get to you. She said, "The hardest thing is when someone asks how many children I have, I automatically say 3. I can't believe that's now is only 2. Deborah Ashcroft, mother of Christine, had gone on television continuously. In the 19 days her daughter was missing until a postman discovered Christine's body buried in a snowbank 6 miles away from her home. Ashcroft, the mother of Chris, said that Chris was really a joy. She said, "This is on why whoever took her kept her so long. He was enjoying her company. At least this is what we told ourselves and prefer not to think any differently." So basically they were just trying to cope and say like maybe something good happened, but we know exactly what went on. Marion, mother of Tim King, the youngest of the 4 children, feared the worst when her son didn't return home one day after a trip to the local pharmacy, even penning a letter to the killer of the other children on the front page of the Detroit News. 6 days after his appearance, her fears was confirmed when Tim's body was found in a shallow ditch 11 miles from their home. the incidents gripped the town, with the county releasing "Don't Go with Strangers" bumper stickers, t-shirt iron-ons, and recorded radio jingles, and a $70,000 reward being posted for information leading to an arrest. A task force assembled to devote resources specifically to hunting down the killer, launching what was the largest murder investigation of its kind in the U.S. of all time. It was disbanded by 1978. Nearly 50 years later, the Oakland County killer, as the suspect would come to be known, has never been identified. Okay, that was the story of the Oakland County, killer. Like that haven't been solved. It's been 50 plus years. They still haven't really found out exactly who it was. But the public and everybody else that read the story and have their speculations and kind of figure out the suspects and like the connections to things. This is like a bonus segment of the video a little bit too. We're going to dive into some more stuff, some more conspiracies that's connected to that storyline right there. But it's a horrible story. Like that, the children getting murdered, like 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds and all type of stuff getting abused. And they said they was fed too as well. As you guys mentioned, and we're gonna bring that back up too when we get to the next part of this. But the suspects that was in the thing, Christopher Butch was a suspect in there as well, like that too as well. He was convicted of pedophile crimes before, pedophilia, and he also had links that kind of made him link to this a little bit too. Him and James Vincent Gunnels, Gregory Green as well, and Art Sloan as well, like that. All the people that was suspects, but they never really found things that linked them fully to it. Christopher Birch, like I mentioned, they said Birch was convicted pedophile and the son of a high-ranking General Motors executive. He committed suicide in 1978, and shortly after the killing stopped. Like that, so people kind of speculated it was him. They said it was reported that he had a drawing resembling the little boy that was killed as well, of that too as well. But they said that the DNA did not linked correctly to him. They said it cleared him being a suspect. But that's kind of like, that was in 2012 and they did that like that too. So it's like a little shit like that, because trying to get DNA from the 70s to the modern time, maybe not connecting right. And then Art Sloan, same thing as well. They said they found like pieces of his hair in the car like that as well, to try to link it to maybe the child or something like that as well. But they said it was inconclusive like that, so they couldn't really determine him to be the guy. And also Gregory Green, a guy who he got arrested and convicted of child sexual assault before. He got arrested. They said the first thing he told the police, he told them that Christopher Bush, who's I mentioned earlier as a suspect, was the one who killed the first child. So that was already something that he went on with as well. Then James Vincent Gunnels, as well, like that. It says hair was recovered from Christine and then matched DNA from Gunnels like that too. So there's a lot of different suspects. Now we dive into next a little bit of how the suspects all kind of entwine with each other. Because when you look at it, a lot of people had the same speculation. A lot of people, you've seen it for years. If you follow the story, you've seen stuff and like this, look into mysteries and everything. A lot of people had the same story. They said that it was almost like a sex ring, like that. We've seen before like that. It's like a sex ring. You guys ever heard of the North Fox Island in Michigan? North Fox Island, like that. People always claim that to be like the first Epstein Island a little bit as well. Francis Sheldon, he was a millionaire, a very, very established individual, and he bought an island as well. And the island had it was like they had cabin in the woods and all type of things. He was trying to use it as a camp for young boys to go over there, and I think young boys and girls like that to go over there, like that, to be there and stuff as well. But it got investigated, and eventually it led to some arrests being made, because one of the people that was there was the coach. I think it was Gerald Richards, the coach, the gym teacher there. One of the kids said that he did some inappropriate action with them, sexually assaulting one of the kids, and he reported it and got investigated. And that's what kind of led to everything. But this right here was happening in the 70s. So this was like back in 1970s when this was happening. And that Michigan island, the North Face Michigan little island they had, was only 200 miles away, about 3-4 hour flight away from Detroit area where the killings happened. The killings happened in the 70s time as well. And then you see the bodies kind of pop up, and you see everything's pop up a little bit too as well. You see the connection that Christopher Birch, his father being the General Motors like that, have a connection, you never know. So A lot of people speculate that they could have been all entwined together. It could have been like some type of sex ring, some sex trafficking thing, because kids were disappearing and flying out as well like that. And they said there was flying kids over there regularly as well too. And Sheldon, now he never got arrested because they said when he got investigated, he fled the scene like that. But they kind of speculated like once he did that, they kind of knew that he was the guy. But yeah, like they kind of like entwined all together a little bit. The Michigan North Face Island, all the things they had there going on. And it was kind of during the same time where those killings happened too, in a small town as well. And when they show you the article too, where the article at? A little newspaper thing they had. They were showing I don't know if it's on here or not. They were showing a newspaper. It was the way it was described. It was just bad like that, trying to like luring boys in like that and girls in as well like that. And it was just some crazy stuff like that too as well. I think it was mostly boys. Because they said like it was trying to do like some type of, it was kind of covered up as like a activity like that for them to go camping and stuff. Yeah, it said boys is 8 to 14 in the different areas like that. They were trying to do like an activity like, oh, they come here to camp and do all this and stuff as well. But yeah, it was crazy like that. So his story got a lot more to do too as well. Like him being a millionaire, having connections and stuff as well. We bought the island and doing that and all that stuff like that. They kind of like mixed together. A lot of people speculate that it's all together. It's all mixed together. The killings that happen, and that right there is all linked together. And when you see Christopher Butch commit suicide, it makes a little shaky a little bit too as well, because we've seen that happen many times. Like in the modern time, we have the Epstein Island, people always discuss about as well. And they said he committed suicide, which we know he probably did not commit suicide, but they said he committed suicide too as well. And you see all the files, like it wasn't just him; it was like other people as well, like that. But he probably was like the beacon where everybody come there and like do those crimes and stuff as well. You see all the names that's written in the files and stuff as well. But in my opinion, I always feel like it's people who are even higher, who names not in the files, but people who are even higher up like that, controlling everything. Remember the great Fred Hampton? He mentioned it before. He says it's the elites versus the rest. He says it's not black and white. They try to do all that stuff, the race wars, black versus white versus brown versus all that stuff like that. They try to do all the race wars. They try to do religion wars. They do wars on gender, sexuality wars, all these different things. Like the Republican Party, Democrat Party, Green Party, Independent Party. They try to do all these different wars like that and separation. Everything always divided because they don't want you to stand together as a unit, because you know that it's the elites that are controlling everything like a puppet master versus the rest. But that's a story for a different time. Like they killed Fred Hampton too. Now he died at 21. They say they accidentally shot him. The FBI to do some type of raid thing or something happened. The same thing they said to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. They accidentally got him. But story for a different time. But this right here, I feel like it's a lot more connected to this stuff. So that right there is the little extra bonus I brought to the video. So yeah, this is the story right here. So without further ado, let's get into our outro.
So that concludes our story of Into the Known. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Into the Known.